Okay, I think we're good. I think we're good. Um, I think we're live right now. So this is just wonderful. And the beauty of all of this is that, and I want to share this with you people, is that I've installed fucking smart lights all over the place. And so I can change the lights in my room right in here. Now, this is a mess here, so I'm not going to show anything around. But here's the thing. Let's put this white as it can be because we love white, don't we? Oh, look at this beautiful thing. Wonderful. So let's close that so you can see this beautiful face one more time. And this is amazing. So today we'll be talking about how to get started with StatePulse. I've done that before, but you know what? You know the reason why I'm doing this again is I didn't like my beard then, so I'm gonna change it with a better beard for this one. So if you saw the other video, then you understand what the hell I'm talking about. So let me just put that music on. Ooh, yes, sir. And so, what is StatePulse? Why did we create StatePulse in the first place? Let me pull up the README because just want to be consistent here. But essentially, StatePulse was born out of frustration towards the clean architecture community. I've heard like all these experts recommending Fluxer as a clean architecture. Those are people that teaches clean architecture on an expert level thing, or they say so, and that pissed me off because I would say no expert or no clean architecture, a loyal clean architecture dude would ever recommend Fluxer for the job. And the reason is because Fluxer creates a hard dependency on their base class. That is the first reason why. And I was not going to sit here and being fed that this was the best option. I knew that we could do better as developer community. So first of all is that Fluxer does give you a base class for a component. That was a big no-no for me. I mean, this is a direct dependency on Fluxer package, which means any other mid-class or other framework-based class that I would use, I would have to have a middleman with Fluxer in it or have a hard conflicts toward it. And this was not an option for me at the time, and I did not accept that. Not after I've been drilled with clean architecture and solid principle how dependency inversion works and the reasons why we are limiting to the minimum the dependencies on other packages as much as we can. And there's very clear and sound reasons for that. Then you get these same people telling you that Fluxer is the way to go when it comes to front-hand clean architecture, and this is complete bullshit, and we've proven that already. But the other thing is that the other thing that bugged me was the fact that and now I might misunderstand, or I did not like study Fluxer in depth in order to know this, but the first feeling that I had with Fluxer was that I felt like whenever we used that base class, we ended up having all of the component re-rendered whatever the state you're listening to. So which means like you get that Fluxer base class on component A and component B using state A and state B, and when you update state B, state component A re-renders as well. And this is something that I've seen in well, it felt this way. I'm pretty sure that this is what's going on. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seen that with other state management for Blazor as well. And this bugged me because it means like we're re-rendering components that don't need to be re-rendered along the way. So StatePulse basically comes and fix all of this all in one. So it's really a true zero boilerplate to use. Of course, you still got that massive a Redux pattern going on. We didn't reinvent the wheel. Fluxor's design is working very good with the reducers and shit like that. But what we did is essentially add up to it and fix the things that improves the developer experience. That's all this is about, really. So it's to improve that developer experience. And so, first of all, and this is the beard that I was talking about. So let's point it out. Really, not the best, Max, not the best. But essentially, we had we added the effect validator, which means you can put think of it as fluent validation for kind of the idea behind it. You can set a side effect and you trigger that side effect regardless, and that side effect on any given action could trigger given a certain set of rules concerning that specific action running. So which means if the action has object A integrated into it, then trigger the other effect as well, as you can have multiple effects on it. And one of the other problem that we fix with StatePulse is pretty much the erase conditions. So, and this is a big one because for the performance that we have and the features that we offer, it's extremely performant. Of course, it's not meant for tight looping, but which one is really state management for tight loops? That just doesn't happen. But what I mean is that it's very, very fast. I've been working on performance a lot since the past few updates, and that last 3.0 update has massive performance boost, 20 to 40% performance boost. So really, it's just it's getting more performant every updates. And one of the key feature is the tracking mechanism that we have. Now, one thing that I didn't like with the Fluxor approach is that it utilizes a foreign approach to debugging when it comes to .NET development. They will be using I think the Redux or Flux or whatever JS or React thing they use over there to debug the flow. Hooking this on the web route, this is completely foreign for any .NET developers to be using a third-party tools that is not made for .NET. So this is something that really bugged me into the flow of development with Fluxor. So this is something that we fixed here. We have the option to await the whole pipeline, which means our fire and forget is really just a fire and yield, which means you fire it and there's middleware executing. They will always execute in order, but they will do the job in the background unless you define that this dispatch, the specific dispatch that you're working on, must be awaited, which means then you block the whole pipeline and then you await the whole pipeline. So if anything throws in that, you'll catch it. And if you do a step-by-step debugger for Blazor server, for example, then you'll be able to go step-by-step into the flow. And this is priceless for debugging, really, especially given the .NET environment into mine. So I just applied what is best of my experience, and I use it on the daily. Everything that is UI, I'm always on StatePulse for this. So I developed this package using it, and this is priceless because I see many times we developers just have a great idea and make it out, but then we don't really need or use that package. We just made it out because we thought about it. But when you do actively use it, then you can fix what you don't like and what you hate about it the most. And so this is what I've done. And to eliminate the base class, we have a state accessor service called iStatePulse. And then you can quickly access the state and link the component or whether it's a component or not, it doesn't matter. You link the object calling it with the update of the re-render method. So, which means for in the case of component, you'll have a an update method inside your component, and that update method will be hooked over there, and the this is going to be the component, which means you're binding that state with that method. Anytime that this state is updated, that instance of component given that method will be called every single time. No waste re-renders of objects or components that are not actually listening to the state. Only what listens to that state gets re-rendered, and this is the power of StatePulse. This, just for that reason, you should be using it right now, today. Come on, it's 50% off. Anyways, so this is the most attractive feature, and the other thing is the fact that you can, like I said, you can await the pipeline, but you can also have not also you have from the get-go anti-duplication system, which means we're discarding the method that we use when we use, for example, Fluxer will have either a ticker that will say that this incoming version is older than the last one, and so discard the incoming and only keep the most recent version of any state updates, given race conditions being ignored if the state that you get is stale, pretty much. So we have all of this is embedded already in StatePulse. So I would say that 99.9% of the cases, the anti-duplication system should work as intended. And, it's still race condition stuff. So there's still, like, depending on what you do, if you do it on multiple circuits, if you do it in singleton, if you do it multi-threading, everything should work just fine. But I'm keeping a margin of error here of 0.1%, just in case. You never know. I'm yet to have seen something fail, but I'm sure it will happen at some point in the future. So that anti-duplication system works is not enabled from the start. You can either run a dispatch itself that will have that feature, or you can run a global action that has that feature, and the entry points will mark or start everything that comes after that, and every chained effect will be inheriting that tracking system. So if it's canceled later down the chain, it will be canceled automatically. So really, StatePulse is just a massive boost for anybody doing UI on Blazor actively right now, utilizing Fluxer. Another thing that I didn't like with Fluxer is that we utilize attributes for the features, and we used base class, abstract base class for the definitions of actions, for example, or effects for that matter, and that really bugged me. It just feels unclean, especially coming out of clean architecture. So I was just thinking that in our case, everything is interface based, and so you just hook your interface and everything is working just fine. And we've got multiple ways that we can register our things. You could scan the assembly, which is not recommended, but you can do it for development purposes. Or you could just, hook all the types that you need to register. They will automatically register themselves. Or you could just use this one with all the types. Single entry point, just register the service and whatever that is here. So you got this action, so you register the actions and so forth and so on. You've got a lot of options as well in terms of middlewares that you can run. But yeah, what is StatePulse is pretty much it, just a state management system using the flux pattern, but very much coded for .NET development. And I'm not here just to trash on Fluxer. It's just that I think Fluxer has done its time, and I think that it did what it was supposed to do for the time that it was supposed to do, but it felt like it was not. As a .NET developer, it feels like it's not made for .NET development. It's just like a port of React onto .NET, and it lacks the flavor that the clean architecture. And like I said, the real teasing part is the fact that clean architecture experts are recommending Fluxer for the front end clean architecture. This is just disgusting to me, how we could settle for such a inferior package while we could have or created a lot better options that I'm presenting today, which is StatePulse. So this is what StatePulse is all about. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one we get